Make sure you change your posture very carefully, taking one of your legs, putting it by the side. And now, without moving close to the camera yet, let's take 1 more minute to enjoy the peace we gained in meditation. Okay. So that means we have Florence, right? And Paris is ill. All right. So I wish your sister to get healthy soon. Being ill on Christmas is not something desirable. Is it something big or is it something small, Florence? What is it? You think it's something big? Okay. All right. So I wish her that it gets fine. And so now let's look at the 5 precepts. Today we will be reciting in Sri Lankan pronunciation. So I will not be showing you the paper, and it's a little more simple. It's simpler and faster, easier, makes more sense. So you can unmute everyone, please. Yes, you'll be taking 3 refuges, 5 precepts, so you can keep your hands together at the chest. Langham is adjusting her camera. Is that possible? Okay. So you can keep your hands together at the chest. Yamahang vadame tang vadeta. Aham bhante. Tisaranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anuggahang katva. Silang deta me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. Dutiyampi aham bhante. Tisaranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anuggahang katva. Silang deta me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. Tatiyampi aham bhante. Tisaranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anuggahang katva. Silang deta me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. So now this will be the first time that we will be reciting it in the traditional way. And in the traditional way, I say Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa only one time, whereas you say it 3 times. But we are in Zoom, so the timing of your sound is not ideal. Anyway, try to listen to what others say so that you do not get too much off, because it will be a little longer. You will be saying that sentence 3 times, one after another. So I will say it 1 time and you will say it 3 times. So see if you can keep it sometimes unisono. Do you know what's that? Uni means one, sono means sound. See if you can keep it, unified, so that one person doesn't finish while the other person actually starts. So let's try it. This is our first attempt. So remember to keep your hands together at the chest. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 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 Perfect, very well. So now, with the refuges also, I will be reciting all of the 3, and then all of the 3 the second time, and then all of the 3 the third time. So see if you can keep it nicely unisono like you just now did. That was excellent. Very, very well done. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. Okay. I think after about like 3 more months we'll be there. And now let's continue. Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Buddhang. Yes, some of you started with Sanghang. First is Buddha, then Dhamma, then Sangha. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Very well. So now I will acknowledge that your going for refuges is complete. Sarana gamanang paripunnang. Very well. So now we can move on to the 5 precepts. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kamesu michhachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya majja. Pamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Very well. So now I will encourage you to protect and follow the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, and to make effort mindfully. Tisaranena saddhing pancha silang dhammang sadhukang surakkitang katva appamadena sampadetham. Very well. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Okay, so for today we had some text to memorize. I did try to memorize my portion, so let's see if I still can remember that. But I want to make sure that the others also memorize their own portion. Some of you were not here, so you did not get anything. So you will be watching and evaluating our performance. But let me first ask whether the others actually have it. So Lenghom, did you memorize your portion? You can nod if yes, or do like this if no. You did not memorize your portion. Oh, then that's pretty bad, because you're coming right after me. So if you did not memorize it, then we are doomed. What about Caitlin? You did memorize your portion. And Melanie?
I remember some part of it, but it's like the adjectives. I think I can get the meaning, but not like the exact words.
Okay. And Amal?
Yes, no, those are memorized.
Nice, very good. So we have verses A, B, C, D, E, but we can do only A, C, E. All right. So then, how shall we resolve this? So I will assign I see. Okay. So I did memorize. Caitlin has it. So we are missing Langhom and Melanie, right? So I will ask Marinda to recite Langhom's portion. It's in the chat box, and I will ask Florence to recite Melanie's portion. Okay, and you need to remember that Marinda is coming right after me, and then comes Caitlin, and right after Caitlin comes Florence, and then after Florence comes Aomao. All right. Yes, Melanie?
I just realized my part has a grammatical error. It says sad delights and pleasant griefs, but it goes with lax, and lax is a third person singular ending.
But I think that this lax is not related to these two words. So that's the point of a poem. That poem plays a lot with grammar. But in this case, although you do not have a comma or a full stop there, you need to understand that it is there, even though it's not there. So these sad delights and pleasant griefs. Now this is the topic of the speech. So what's going on with them? Who lacks knowledge to know them snares. So these sad delights and pleasant griefs are those snares. You see? So the author clearly understood that they're plural. That's why he calls them and snares. Okay? When you read poem, you need to believe that it's according to grammar. Only when you believe it, it is possible not only to agree, but it's also possible to understand. As soon as you try to find mistakes there, then you run into big trouble. You'll probably not understand what the author meant. Okay, so but when the third watch came, the secret came of sorrow, which with evil mars the law. As damp and dross hold back the goldsmith's fire, then the Dukkha Satya opened him. And now comes Marinda.
First of the noble truths, how sorrow is shattered to life, leaving no life of move. That's in the latest sight until one knows living aside with all its shaping streets.
Very well.
Birth, growth, decay, love, hatred, pleasure, pain, being and doing, how that none strips off.
Thank you. Now Florence. You just read what's in the chat box, starting these sad delights. And I will ask you to read again, please. And come closer to the microphone, please.
Avidya delusion sets those snares.
Can you please start?
Life.
These sad delights.
These sad delights unpleasant griefs, who lacks knowledge to know them snares. But he who knows avidya delusion sets those snares, loves life no longer but ensues escape.
Nice.
The eyes of such one are wide, he sees. Delusion breeds sankhara, tendency perverse, tendency energy, vijñān, whereby comes namarupa, local form.
Very nice. Thank you. Very well. This is great. So this is, for those who don't know, this is from the large poem known as The Light of Asia from Sir Edwin Arnold. I will share with you the link where it is. This poem has 5,300 lines. Now we recited only about 18, right? So it's a big poem. We recited from the part number 8. It's divided into books. Each part is called a book. So we recited from book 8. Somewhere in the middle of the portion starts this text. I have changed the fourth into third. In the book you will find, but when the fourth watch came. However, I believe this is wrong because a night has only 3 watches. Therefore, I changed it to third. In my picture, I have used brackets, so you can see that I put fourth, but I put also third in the bracket. And at the end, as you see, opened to him, because I believe that 2 should be there, but still it's in the bracket because that's not in the original poem. And it's Old English. It's about 140 years old, so, or 130 years old. So of course, it's possible at those times they understood English grammar differently. All right, so the Buddha, when the Buddha became enlightened. Yes, so one thing is that I want to share with you, link to a movie, to know, well, movie, is that a movie? What is it? Hard to tell. It is in YouTube. It's a film.
What do you want?
It's a film. And this film is called Buddha's Life. It is created in Thailand and it's very long. It's about 4 hours long. It's very detailed. It is about the Buddha. It's a cartoon. There are some little things that are not accurate. I made actually a list of the inaccuracies in that movie because I think this is the most accurate movie about the Buddha ever. But there are some inaccurate things, so I made a list of the inaccurate things. Because if those things, I don't know, like 20 or 30 things, if they were corrected, then it would be not the most accurate, it would be the perfectly accurate movie that's available about the Buddha. So whatever are movies about the Buddha, now you know that they are inaccurate. But this particular one that I've shared with you, the link, is the least inaccurate, is the most accurate. All right. So now, when the Buddha to be sat under the tree, the so-called Bodhi tree, and that's the kind of leaves that you get in the picture. These leaves, as you can see in the picture, they are Bodhi leaves. This is a picture from a Bodhi tree. That's why I wanted you to write the verses. Interestingly, these are verses about the Buddha's enlightenment. They describe how the Buddha became enlightened. And so you still have the picture, you still can write that, like the world doesn't end. You can do that today, tomorrow. It will be for yourself, a nice memory. So it doesn't mean that you didn't do it today, you cannot do it ever. No, the other way. You didn't do it today, so do it today or do it tomorrow. So then the Buddha sat down under this Bodhi tree and he resolved that he will be sitting there either until he dies or until he becomes fully enlightened. And fortunately, the latter happened. So the Buddha became enlightened. So how did he do that? First, he concentrated on his breath. He concentrated on his breath, and he gradually developed deeper and deeper concentration, all the way until he developed very deep level concentration. And very deep level of concentration, there are 4 levels, and the Buddha achieved the 4th level of concentration on breath. There are some more levels, but you don't use breath for the higher levels. You then actually abandon the breath when you go to the higher levels. Interestingly, when you go to the 4th level, you don't breathe. So when someone achieves the 4th level of jhana, of deep concentration, they actually stop breathing. They can stay like that for 7 days. You don't believe that? No problem. That doesn't change anything. So this is what the Buddha did first. When he achieved the 4th jhana, then he exited from that state. But when he exited from that state, his mind was very powerful. How was it powerful? Because he achieved the 4th jhana. The 4th jhana makes the mind very powerful. Even the first one does. And then he used this very great power to look at his previous lives. So he remembered his previous lives. He remembered 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 previous lives. He remembered the arising of the world and the destruction of the world. 1 world period, 2 world periods, 5, 10, 100, many world periods in the past. So the Buddha remembered a lot of his previous lives. Then the Buddha, that was during the first watch of the night. Just take whatever is the night period, be it 7 hours, 8 hours, every day it's a little different, and divide it into 3 parts. And those parts are called watches. So we have night watch number 1, the first watch, second watch, and third watch. During the third watch, the Buddha got the psychic power of remembering his past lives. Then for the second watch, the Buddha remembered again through the power of the 4th jhana. He looked at other living beings, and he saw that other living beings in their past lives also did good and bad things just like him. And also, because of their good and bad deeds, they had to suffer pleasure and suffering just like him. And he was able to see how living beings in the world are now suffering or enjoying based on their previous deeds. He saw that those who previously had a wrong view, for example, did not believe in next life, those who blamed enlightened beings, and those who broke the 5 precepts, that means killed, stole, committed adultery, cheated, told lies, or drank alcohol, they were suffering. They were now suffering because they previously blamed enlightened beings, or they had a wrong view, or they broke one of the 5 precepts. They were suffering in hell or as animals. Then he also saw that those who did not blame enlightened beings, those who had the right view, they knew that their good deeds will bring consequence, bad deeds bring consequence. Those who did not break the 5 precepts, that they actually enjoyed. They were born as humans, as gods, and they enjoyed their existence. So that's what happened during the second watch. He was able to see the causes and consequences, the actions and consequences of other living beings based on the knowledge of their past lives. Number 3, in the third watch, as I've recited from the poem, that's how it started. But when the third watch came, the secret came What does that mean? Well, the secret of the Four Noble Truths, the secret to get free from all suffering came. Of what? What's that secret? Of suffering, which with evil mars the law. So suffering together with evil here probably means the ignorance and mental defilements like greed, hatred, ignorance. They together mar the law. They obscure the law. They make sure that you do not know how to get free from all suffering. And so the Buddha realized the Four Noble Truths. How did he realize it? First, he saw that there are taints, that there are mental defilements. Then he was wondering where are they coming from. Through the purity of his fourth jhana, he was able to see that they're coming from clinging, from craving. Craving is the reason for suffering. Then he was wondering how to get free from suffering. Aha, if you eradicate craving. And then he saw how to do that through the Eightfold Noble Path. So we will probably be going through Eightfold Noble Path sometime later. But the Eightfold Noble Path, in brief, is morality, ethics, and meditation. So this is what he realized under the Bodhi tree. And through the realization of the Four Noble Truths, he eradicated ignorance. He eradicated ignorance of permanence, of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, not self. He eradicated the perception of permanence, satisfactoriness, and self, and thereby became a Buddha. So this is how the Buddha was born. So the Buddha also understands this time as his change into the Buddha was change in lineage, change in family. Then when he went for alms round, close to his palace, close to the palace where he was born, his father, the king, he saw his son going, begging for alms in the village. So the king came and he says, "Oh, my dear son, why are you disgrace? Why are you doing a disgrace to our family? Nobody in our family in the past ever begged for alms." And he says, "No, I'm actually doing exactly that, what my family did in the past." And the king is asking, "Which family are you talking about?" He says, "Well, the family of Buddhas." So the Buddha changed his lineage, he changed his family, so he was no more from the family of King Suddhodana, but in the spiritual sense he was from the family of Buddhas. And he was following the manners of his family, of his ancestors. That means going for alms round. So this is how the Buddha became a Buddha. There is a story of Mara, of demon Mara, but that would be for a longer time because there's also some controversy about that. So it was a pleasure to see everybody. Do you have any question? Would you like to know anything about what I've said or anything else at all? Yes, Melanie?
I have an unrelated question. Can I
Okay,
ask?
whatever.
Okay. Can a person wish to be something in the next life and then be something in the next life?
That's right.
So
But
what?
be careful. But be careful because first, in order that the wish is fulfilled, you will need to do a good deed. For example, donate meal to a congregation of monks, to a community of monks. Community of monks is at least 4 monks. If you want next life to be born, for example, as a god or as a dragon or as a human or whatever, and you want to be very pretty sure, then what helps a lot is to invite 4 monks or more. The more, of course, is better, the better. So you invite 4 monks for meal, or you go to the monastery, you donate to at least 4 monks that you did not select. They need to be random 4 monks. Or you can ask the chief monk of the monastery, please select 4 monks for me. And then you donate meal to those 4 or more monks as the Sangha. And you wish, may these monks, by my donation, may they prosper as the community of monks and become easily enlightened. And upon the time, and as soon as they finish their meal, you can wish. And you can wish that what you want. For example, that you want to be born as a god, or that you want to be a dragon, or that, but don't wish to be a dragon. That's a problem. That you want to be a chief of God, a king of gods. It's a little hard to wish to be Brahma, because for that you will need to meditate and achieve deep level of concentration, jhana. But to be born in heaven, yes, this should work, and definitely it works for being born as a human. For example, many Burmese ladies would love to be born as a human next life. So this works. But unfortunately it works the other way as well. So when gentlemen wish to become a woman, then they really become women. The problem is that when they become women, then they regret it. So there's a case of a lady like that. A lady came up to a very important monk in Myanmar, and the monk could see her past life, and he saw that in her past life she was a monk, and she donated as a monk, as a novice, like a monk who's in the testing period, in the starting up period, preparation period, novice. So the novice, as he was in the training period, he also donated meal to the Sangha. And sometime before that, he saw a beautiful statue of a beautiful lady at a pagoda. And he wished to be a girl like that in his next life. So when he donated the meal to the monks, he wished that for that merit, he should be born like that beautiful. In his next life, he should be as beautiful as that girl and be a girl. And that's it. Then he was born like that girl. And now he's the girl.
Alright, so I have a question. Can someone wish to be a bird?
They can, but being bird is not a good choice to be born. Because as a bird, you cannot tell anyone that you're ill. You cannot tell anyone that you have a toothache. You cannot tell anyone that you need help. Nobody cares. Either you steal your food, or you kill others, or you die.
Oh, okay. So, if someone with good manners wish to be born a bird, will they live a good life as a bird or just a regular bird?
That will depend on their actions. So if they wish to be born as a bird, it's a little problem, because they may be born like a bird like that for another 500,000, 2,000 lives. You don't want to get stuck in a life that's not 100% reliable. A reliable life is heaven, is life in heaven. Every other life is not reliable. You're always afraid. In heaven, you're not afraid. There's just joy, pleasure. So being born as a human, you're afraid. Will you get ill? How much will you get ill? Oh, you have an illness. How long time will this illness stay with you? Will it stay 1 day, or 1 month, or 1 year, or whole life? And then when you get old, it's a lot of illnesses and a lot of difficulties. Gods have nothing like that. So wishing to be born as a human is still not a good idea. I know in Myanmar they wish to be born as humans, but that again would be a topic for a long time, because there's a controversy. The Buddha praised being born as a god so much. And you know what, Melanie, if you know anyone who wants to be born as a bird, be it you or anyone else, I don't care, it is still better to be born as a god, and then as a god you can transform yourself into a bird for as long time as you want. And still you are a god. So if you decide that being a bird is not a good idea, then you can just change into a god within a split of a second. Isn't that better? Okay, any more questions? So the more merits you make, the higher probability is that your wish will be fulfilled. And it doesn't need to be for the next life. It can be for this life itself. So in Myanmar, it is common that people go to a Buddha statue, they donate flowers, and then they wish that they pass their exam. So you can do that, but it's a little, how to say that? You can, why would you use of this opportunity, you know, for such lowly things, if you can use it for high things, you know? You can use this power so that you become enlightened, or you achieve deep levels of concentration, or that you can support your family, and so on and on. So why would you use this opportunity for power for such low achievements if you can use it for very high noble achievements? So that's why some people in Myanmar, they do this, they offer flowers, and then they wish to pass their exam. But some others, they criticize it and they say, well, this is not a noble way of taking this opportunity. Better is to wish to achieve enlightenment, to get free from all greed, hatred, ignorance. All right. Any more question? Anything at all? Whatever you want to ask, now is the best time. Yes, Melanie?
Can you pronounce the French R?
Ra? But I think you can do it too, right? Bonjour. Ra? But that's not much related to Buddhism, right? If you have a question about Buddhism, that's better. All right, it seems like everything is clear. It was a pleasure to see you. I think now in your place is also pretty late, right? So, what about our next class? Do we have our next class? Are you coming? Who's coming? If you're coming, please raise your hand. Lang Hong, yes. Can you use your Zoom hand? Caitlin also. Alma also. Marinda, are you coming next time? Next week?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So everyone, you can please remove your hand. Thank you very much. So for next time, let's continue in the book. I know it's a little weird to have this, you know, for the New Year's Day. Or what is it? Will that be a New Year's Day in your place? No, it won't. But I think it's good to read the book. The book gives you energy to live, and it helps you to avoid death, at least the untimely one. So let's continue in the book. Or does anyone have any idea how what we could do our next class? Any idea is most welcome. No idea? Okay, yes, Melanie?
We could practice aspiration when we do the Sri Lanka pronunciation of the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, since I noticed that a lot of like accents, like Burmese accents, can't aspirate some consonants.
Okay. Yeah, we can try that. You know, if anyone here would like to make sure that their aspiration is right, you just take a paper Let me see if I have a soft paper. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. So you take a paper and you put it close to your mouth. And for example, you have there ka, ka, ga, gha, nga, right? So you need to know the difference between ka and ka, ga and gha. So you put it in front of your mouth and you say ka, ka. That's right. Ga, gha. Yes. You see? So that's how you can train. That's the best way to train because you can easily see whether it works or not. So you get ga, ka, ga, gha, nga, and then ja, cha, ja, ja, nya, da, ta, da, dha, na. But now it's a little hard. Da, ta, da, dha, na. Da, ta, da, dha, na. Pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. So we can do that next class. I think everybody is enthusiastic to try that out. Are you? But it's a basic skill. You have aspiration in Burmese sometimes also, but not so much. And there's not so much of emphasis on that. Okay, so it was a pleasure to see you, everybody, and I hope to see you next time. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Thank you, Venerable Sir, and goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye, Venerable Sir.